Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before I get started here, I just wanted to show you this image here is all the colors that I used in the painting that I'll be doing here. I've got Pyrrole Red and Quinacridone Coral from Daniel Smith, Transparent Orange and Phthalo Blue from Van Gogh, and then the two neutral tints that I did a review with the past couple videos ago. Neutral tint from Holbein and the neutral tint from Sennelier, and I just use them together because they're pretty complementary. But anyway, so not very many colors, but um, I don't know. They're nice. But anyway, so this topic here that I'm going to talk about today is a little bit more serious than my normal type conversations. I mean, some people may not think of it as such, but I do. So anyway, the motivation behind this illustration was actually inspired by my nightly reading of the Bible, and I came across Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 6, which in this point in the Bible, it's basically after Moses had led the Israelites out of Egypt, and then the next generation after the wanderings in the desert and whatnot, the next generation were receiving their instructions for, following the rules basically. And within the instructions, God was telling them, "Hey, if you fall away from these rules, then I'll cut you off. I won't be behind you. Da da da. But if you come back, then I will circumcise your heart, and all the bad stuff will go away, and I will accept you again, and life will be swell." So Deuteronomy 30 verse 6 was the "I will circumcise your heart," basically that verse. And it just, like, this image popped in my head, and it also made me think about a story of mine from back when I was in college. And for me, I haven't thought about this much over the years, but for me, age-wise, this happened about 20 years ago, so I haven't really thought about it much, but it made me think about it when I read this verse. Now, it's a difficult thing for me to talk about because this isn't something I feel like I look back on this and I think it was just stupid. Um, I was in a stupid time in my life and I just did stupid things, and um, yeah, I mean, it was just, I don't know, it was just stupid. But anyway, so here's the story. So when I was in college, I had these really emotional roller coastery times. I think I was still developing and just not maturing fast enough, or I don't know what was going on, but there was just a lot of stuff. Um, I got, I was boy crazy, so I had, like, I don't know. I was just always trying to impress boys. I don't know why. I don't even think about it now, and I'm like, just, it's so stupid. But anyway, there's this one guy in particular. I won't name him, but we'll call him Bob for now. Um, he, I dated him for not very long at all, but I met him under emotional circumstances, and so when that happens, then, like, the hormones start flying and crazy things happen. And it unfortunately happened to me. So I became crazy with this dude. And at the time, I was living with this girl, and we'll call her Jane, who was a self professed Druidian witch. I don't even know if there's a difference, but she was a witch and she was proud of it, and whatever. But this Bob and I, well, Bob broke up with me under some crazy circumstances. I believe he was under the influence, and it was kind of a shock to me because I was really naive about things at the time and didn't think people would do such a thing. I don't know, I just was really naive. But and when I mean under the influence, I mean, like, I think he was on not alcohol. But anyway, so I was devastated. And I was desperate to get his attention again. And this witchy roommate of mine said, "Hey, I know a spell that you could use to draw him back to you." And me being weak minded, I was just like, okay, I'll do anything. I'm just so desperate to get his attention again. I don't understand what happened because truly, in my defense, the breakup was just out of nowhere. It was so weird. Um, I really, I don't know. But yeah, so anyway, I was really desperate to get him back. And I'm not going to describe the details of this quote unquote spell that she gave me, but I will tell you that um, this stuff does not play around. You can't. It's not a game. It's real. Like this stuff actually works, but um, you're basically selling your soul to do it. You can't. You're playing with darkness. You don't know what you're gonna get out of it. It's just I don't know. But anyway, so a part of this uh, thing required me to do a specific thing during a specific time. And I remember during this specific thing that there were, it was like, I want to say it was sometime in a warm month. I can't remember what month it was. Warm. I was out there doing the thing, and my roommate was waiting. She was in the car with her boyfriend, kind of off to the side, and I was alone doing this thing um, by myself. And I did it, and it started to snow, and that was bizarre because it was like a summer month or like in the beginning of summer sometime. And although these things have happened before, you know, the weather wasn't really on track to do that sort of thing. So it was at the time pretty bizarre. And then my roommate and her boyfriend claimed that they saw shadowy figures running around. And I'm like, that's messed up. So, but anyway, ultimately, this thing that I did, it worked and it scared the crap out of me. So I felt terrible because it worked, and I vowed to destroy this thing that I built with the miscellaneous materials that I had to do. Well, one of the materials, and this is kind of an eerie thing too. So one of the materials that I used was a certain kind of flower, and I got it from Walmart, and the tag on it said it was going to be some kind of red flower, da 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 da. And when it bloomed, it was white, and it bloomed pretty quickly. So, like I said, between the start of this thing and then the time that it bloomed, not a lot of time passed because it worked pretty quick, and then I destroyed it pretty quick. So, but anyway, so when this thing bloomed, it bloomed white, which I was like, okay, that's weird. They must have had the wrong tag on there, but it was still kind of odd because the flower didn't really look like what was pictured on the thing, and it was white instead of red, and just yeah, it was a lot of strange things. And I was like, whatever. So I went ahead and I went to go destroy it. So I don't know what made me think of this, but I went to go break the flower in half. So I took the stem. It was a pretty thick stem too. It was like if you can imagine like a lily stem, a little bit thicker than that. And I broke the thing in half, and inside of it was bleeding, which scared the crap out of me. So I think I burned it. I don't know. I got rid of it. Um, and then, everything ceased, which was good because that's what I wanted. But I lived with Jane for some time after that. We ended up moving to another apartment, and it was messed up. Like, we were seeing things. We were seeing, I don't know if they were spirits or what. I don't really believe in ghosts, but I do believe in creatures roaming around, like angels and demons. And I believe that our apartment had something in it. And the things that Jane was telling me that she was seeing, and I didn't see what she was seeing because she was seeing it at a greater magnitude. I was just seeing like glimpses of it here and there. But I do remember being woken up suddenly in the middle of the night and kind of like night terrors. I was frozen in place, but there was something in the bed with me, looking at me. And it was very faint and very brief, but that has, haunted me to this day. But, when I was going to church at the time, and I told my people there, I said, I got to get out of this situation because, I love my friend, but I can't stay with her because I can't live in this kind of environment. So anyway, I ended up getting out of there and all that stuff stopped. So anyway, I repented of that. I did have a similar kind of stressful, depressing moment in my life pretty recently. I'd say, I think it happened in like 2015. So not quite 20 years ago, but it was still, it was long enough ago, but, actually 2014-ish. Yeah, it was pretty, I don't know. It was just really depressing. And I remember that my mind started to go back to, like, it just seems so easy to practice, to do these things, to kind of just make things go your way. But I never succumbed to that, but, it crossed my mind. And when you suffer from such crazy depression like that, a lot of times you just become desperate to do things. And, if you watched my video on quitting an SSRI, that was the time period that I was struggling. And so I just ultimately started taking antidepressants to fix my head instead of try to tap into these insane things that I don't know. But anyway, so this image here, I think fits that whole, I feel like personally, and there really isn't, because there's no distinguishing degree of what's the word I'm looking for? Severity of sins according to God, because, a lie is pretty much as bad as murder, which in our minds we can't fathom that, because it's like people lie all the time, but, people don't always murder all the time. And it's just, so in our minds we set like, a hierarchy of sins, and to me, what I did 20 years ago is up there close to murder, but if you look at it as being, if you compartmentalize it like God would and just put it at the same level as everything, then it's not to say that it's fine, but it's just, to me, like, it, for a long time I was like, this is unforgivable, this is unforgivable, but it is, everything's forgivable. I hate to mention this, but you think about, horrible people like Jeffrey Dahmer, who end up, they're most likely redeemed even though they commit these atrocious crimes. And I remember growing up, when I first started being a Christian, I was just like, that's just not fair. It's not fair that they could do that and they could just, but that's just the whole nature of grace. That's how grace works. It's just, in our minds, it's not fair. But if you look at somebody that's fallen away, like the prodigal son, that happens in Luke, the prodigal son comes back and the father completely forgives him. That's just because he loves him. That's the reason. And same thing, God loves us and he doesn't want us to stay mired in that nastiness. He wants us to draw back to him. So he's more than happy to forgive us when we're sincere about it. I can't just say like, oh, I'm sorry for doing this, and then just turn around and do it again, which is, when I had my troubles again, that's pretty much why I didn't do it again, because I had already committed myself to not doing that. But anyway, that was a long, drawn-out story. If you have any similar circumstances, please feel free to leave me a comment about it. This is the final picture, which I'm sure I've been going on and on and on, but here it is in all its glory. I did touch it up a little bit because the scan came in kind of dark, but I just wanted you to be able to see all the details and stuff. But I do have this print for sale on my Fine Art America profile, and yeah, you can see it there. But anyway, if you liked this video, just give me a thumbs up there, and you can subscribe too. I have lots of talks about different things, and I do art and make things, and you know, I love my viewers. So anyway, I will see you next time for another something something. Bye.